Bantu dives up the inside there. But we're going to see the riders' experience on these tyres and the racecraft to see how they can manage it. So we've seen the front two, who are the most experienced, or among the most experienced riders in this class, already make an early decision to pull from the pack. But let's see if that can last with, what, 11 laps remaining. And it might actually play into their hands, because we see this large group here. It's constantly chopping and changing. I think we've all had Singapore, Takahira, Hafai, all have a go at leading it, but none of them can really make it stick for more than a few corners.
2 laps completed then. Ojiwara on the number 16 leading over the line from Mitani. These two are locked together. The gap over the line was 2.7 seconds from the rear tyre of Mitani to Hafai. Popular passing manoeuvre, a popular passing place here at the Losail International Circuit at turn 2. Takahira maybe feels like he's got the pace to try and bridge the gap, but these two at the front setting a serious pace. 2:09.8 for Ojiwara and Mitani that time around. No one else was in the 2:09s at all. 2:10s for Hafai and Takahira, and everyone else was in the 2:11s and below. So these two have got magnificent starts, especially Ojiwara, from the row 2 of the grids, and they are clearing off into the distance.
Yeah, just taking a look through the timing screens as well at Sector 1, it was a 34.3 from Ogiwara out front, but then Ramadipa Kigami are into the 33.9s, as is Takemoto and Levi Russo. So they've got a 5, even though they're in this group fighting for position and field position on the track, they are quite a bit quicker than the front two. They've lost, a few of them have lost that now a little bit, as Ogiwara responds and is 3/10 quicker than them in the second sector. But just keep an eye out with what, 9.5 laps remaining, 10 laps remaining. Will that gap close down? It's currently out to nearly 3 seconds, or beyond 3 seconds even. So it's got to keep an eye on these guys in Richie Takahira, Farish Hafai, to see if they can close the gap. Otherwise, it's Ogiwara and Mitani away for the win.
Yeah, unbelievable pace this is from the top two coming in from last year.
I had to do a double take. I couldn't quite believe the gap.
Yeah, this is absolutely magnificent. They've really got their head down. Mitani and Ojiwara clearly have superior race pace than the rest. We saw in qualifying Ojiwara not quite getting the session he would have wanted under his belt. Mitani, of course, started on pole position, but the times are really tight. But as we mentioned in qualifying, you can't really gauge too much from it. The faster riders are always going to qualify higher up the grid. Obviously, that's how qualifying works, but you can't read too much into it. A 10.5 split the top 5, and as you can see, the top 2 in the race are clearing off into the distance. Watch the gap over line. It's over 4 seconds now. So 4 seconds, tremendous stuff. And obviously the battle that you can see here on the screens going on behind isn't helping these riders. The best they're going to do, unless the riders up front chew their tyres, chew their rear tyres mainly, this is the best they're going to do. So this is a real fight for the final spot on the podium. Hafai came so close, especially in Malaysia last year. I don't know if you remember, Chris, he was in the podium fight in the tricky conditions. I think it was in race 1, and crashed while in the podium fight. So Hafai will be wanting to rebound from that and try and stand on the podium for the first time on the number 19.
Yeah, exactly. P4, I think, then was his best ever result. That came in India last year, and he had that misfortune in Malaysia, as you say. So it's a big chance for him to make his mark in the ATC, one of the more experienced riders here. He's into his 3rd campaign as well. So it's high time for him maybe to start making that experience count and get those podiums. But as things stand, it's Ramadipa who leads Hafai in P4, Ikigami P5 with Takahira Takemoto in 6th and 7th.
Oh,
with
big crash, Chris, sorry, big crash at the front. Ojiwara's down, high sides, coming into turn 12, I think that is. That's a nasty one for Ojiwara. Great to see he's back up on his feet. I think he was a little bit wide on entry, and the rear just snapped away from Ojiwara on the number 16, and down the road he goes. Oh, that's such a shame from Ojiwara. Got a great start from the second row of the grid, was leading from the front superbly with Mitani in tow, but it is pretty much race over. It's certainly race victory over. If you get the bike running quick enough, it's not too much damage, potentially can try and sneak into the points, but that is a disastrous way for the race to end for Ojiwara, trying to get the bike running. Here we go, Chris, coming through the fast kink of turn 11, and then, just spits him over the top.
Absolutely nothing he could do there, just loses the rear up onto the curb and whips him around and fires him into the gravel. That's an absolute disaster for Ogiwara. He was in that lead, what was it, 4 seconds advantage with Mitani. Oh, he's thrown the podium away.
Such a shame. But Mitani, who would have seen what unfolded there right in front of him, right next to him, he probably would have been a bit spooked by that. Probably put him off as he lost some time. It's still the gap, 4.2 seconds. A gift then for Mitani, the Japanese rider, to potentially go on and win this race at a canter. No pressure from behind now for Mitani on the number 2 machine, but drama then in race 1 of 2 here at Lusail International Circuit. That's Takahiro backing it in nicely down at turn 6.
I knew you would spot that. I know you're a big fan of them sliding in through the corners on an overtake, Elliot, but that was really, really nice as well to watch. So, as you say, it's Mitani out front. He's got, what, a 4-second advantage again as they come through this sector. He is on for his first ever win. One championship favourites as well. So what a way it will be to start from P1, from pole position to P1 rather. Oh! He's out of the seat, Singapore. And I'm not sure who he took with them out wide, but they're both still riding and have rejoined at the back of this group.
Yeah, that was a little bit too close for comfort down at turn 10. This is where Ojiwara went down a lap ago. It was the number 14 of Ikegami involved in that. I think Ikegami just got tangled up with Singapong there. We're going to get a replay of it. So here we go, down in turn 10. Singapong up the inside, contact just as Ikegami was trying to tip it into the apex. Singapong maybe a little bit too late on the brakes, missed his braking zone a tad, and the duo went right. So Ikegami loses time, drops to the back of this fight for now the P2 and P3 on the podium after Ojiwara's crash. So plenty of talking points already in the Asia Talent Cup. 7 laps to go as we cross the line. Mitani leads by over 4 seconds still. Ikegami now has ground to make up after being in contact with Singapong.
Yeah, they're certainly not out of this podium battle just yet. Singapong, as we can see now, he's already onto the, shall we say, the third group, the head of the third group, chasing the second group. Strange incident there. Looks like Singapong took a wider angle and then kind of not hit into, but disturbed Ikegami as both went wide. But thankfully, both are still upright and still in this podium battle that is currently led by the number 19 of Farish Hafai.
Yeah, an easy one to get sucked into at turn 10. There's plenty of places to pass on this Lusail International Circuit. Turn 10 is certainly one of them. You come out of the right sort of fastish kink at turn 9 and then a heavy braking zone down into turn 10 before you're powering it out of turn 10. The sort of hairpin into turn 11, the back straight-ish that really isn't a back straight at all here at the Lusail International Circuit, and then through the fast right-hand kinks of 12, 13 and 14. But yeah, a little bit too close for comfort there, but glad to see the riders didn't go down the roads. Singapong just joining up on the back of this fight, and I think they're all bunching together quite nicely again. So that just broke up the group a little bit, Chris, but Ikegami, as you can see there, at the same corner he lost ground. He's making up ground immediately as the rookie.
Yeah, out front then it's Mitani, who's in a country mile of his own, a country mile of space, as the number 9 of Takahiro dives up the inside of Farish Hafai to take P2 off the hands of the Malaysian. Just in behind we see the number 7 of Ramadipa, and he's followed by Singapore, who has recovered from that incident to get himself back into the podium battle here. Levi Russo running in P6, an experienced rider in this class, his second season. And that's Takahiro who's gone wide there. Will he hold on to P2? He certainly does. But just behind is Levi Russo, who's chasing his first ever podium in the class. P6 his best result, and that is where he's running right now. So he's looking to go for a PB result here in Qatar Race 1.
Slipstream City down the front straight, the kilometre-long front straight here at the Lusail International Circuit. Number 7 of Ramadeepa pulls up the inside and gets the job done down into turn 1. Hafai demoted from P2 down to P3, but I get the feeling that's going to happen every single lap as we get closer and closer to the checkered flag. It was like that last year. Hafai then just has to sit up and goes wide. Not quite sure what happened there. Did he miss his braking zone? Did he get sucked in with the slipstream? Not too sure. Did he miss a gear maybe? We don't know. Didn't lose a disastrous amount of time, did Hafai, but that's going to cost him.
Yeah, I was just noticing coming out of the right-hander at turn 1, and he looked to have a serious lead, and he was riding the absolute daylights out of the machine, but he got it wrong then coming through the next corner. He's still upright, he's still in this battle, as you can see him trying to make up ground there. In the background, he overtakes Levi Russo and moves into P7. But then it is Ramadeepa and Takahira who currently occupy the other 2 podium places, with Singapong and Ikegami just behind them.
Yeah, fascinating battle between experienced riders in this class. When I say experience, when you've got one season under your belt in any class, I wouldn't say that's experienced, but more experienced than the rest. Takahira just showing a wheel there to Ramadeepa, and as you can see there, all this battling away in the group that we're watching very intensely is just letting Matani there, flashing through your screens there, on the number 2 machine, just extend his lead. He can just chill out now. Easy for me to say chill out. He will, of course won't chill out, but just the pressure off. I'm sure the person who's holding out his pit boards will be telling him just to keep calm. He'll know the gap. He'll just be controlling it from the front with pretty much 5 laps to go when they cross the line. That's Ikegami diving up the inside of the penultimate turn, shoves Takahira wide onto the paints there, and Ikegami and Singapong getting a little bit close for comfort once again. So fairing bashing once again from the number 14 and the number 20, but Ikegami, after being shoved wide by Singapong, has rebounded superbly.
Yeah, it's elbows out stuff here in Qatar in race 1, isn't it? And you made the bold call of backing Ikegami for a win here. Well, he's currently riding in P3. Well, he has just dropped down a little bit as we've lost a rider towards the back of the pack. It's Farhan Nakib, who has crashed out of the race. Rider okay, thankfully, and that's great news to hear. But back out front, it's Ramadeepa then, who's still leading in this group of P2, with Hafai, Takahira, Takamoto, Ikegami and Singapong all doing their best to catch the Thai rider in P2 as we have a look at Farham Nakib. I'm not quite sure where he's gone down there, Elliot, but we'll get the replay here.
Oh, so contact there in the battle down the fields at turn 10. That's where we saw Singapong and Ikegami come together. And yeah, I think Nakib quite rightly a little bit annoyed at what happened there. Didn't quite see who the rider was with him, but yeah, I think he can be rightly a little bit annoyed with that, Chris. A bit of a naughty move, let's say, maybe just missed the braking zone, didn't quite work out what it was, but an unfortunate ending to the race then for Farhan Nakib, the Malaysian.
Yeah, not an ideal ending, but it's been an ideal race for this ride out front, and that's Zen Matani, the number 2, who is odds on now to take his first ever win in the Asia Talent Cup. A rookie in 2023, he picked up 6 podiums, no wins yet, but it looks like that is about to change. Right behind him we've got Kianja Ramadeepa with Faris Hafai running in 3rd. Then we have Richie Takahira, another returner from the class of 2023. He's going to be chasing down another podium. He hasn't hit a podium since the opening races of last season, so he'll be looking for a return to form as we see the incident between riders number 17 and number 18. That's Farhan Nakib and Chirag. This one is currently under investigation.
Yeah, interesting to see what happens between those 2. Incident currently under investigation, but we are going to concentrate on, Chris, this fight for P2 and P3. Matani clearing off up the road, 5.7 seconds clear. He's got a lonely ride home to the checkered flag unless anything goes wrong. But this is a really, really strong race. From a rookie, remember, Kianja Ramadeepa started 4th on the grids. He's got a lot of riders in tow, and he's just keeping that gap to where he needs to be. You can see from the screen last time around, didn't get caught in the slipstream, the number 7. It is helping that the riders behind are really battling away behind them. Incidentally, the number 19 of Hafai has responded well from that mistake. A double long lap penalty coming then for Vishwanath. So you can sort of understand that from what we saw. Here is the number 18, then he's going to have to take a double long lap penalty for irresponsible riding.
Yeah, just a touch on Kyandra Ramadipa as he is running in 2nd place. Just a reminder, Elias, he's only 14 years old, the youngest rider on the grid, and he did make an appearance in India last year as a wild